1 p.m. case, Jennifer Bunkley, Robert Arthur, restaurant Magdalena, LLC, trading as Magdalena, 205 East Biddle Street, Class B beer, wine, and liquor license application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license under provisions of Rule 2.08, requiring $200,000 in capital investment in restaurant fixtures and facilities and seating capacity for a minimum of 75 people. Everybody testifying, please step forward and raise your right hand.
Mr. Fine.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name is Stanley Fine, Rosenberg Martin Greenberg. With me is Eric Kunamoto from our firm. And we have today both licensee applicants, Robert Arthur and Jennifer Bunkley. We also have a representative from the community. And I do not believe there is any protest. So if the board pleases, I would like to proffer the testimony.
For the last case of the year, absolutely. Let's proffer.
First, let me start by when we submitted our applications, our witnesses who own property and can attest to and registered voters signed on the wrong line. So we had them re-sign. So it's the same group, but they've actually signed it correctly now. So there are 4 folks, but now they're signed on the correct line.
All right, and based on what you had given us before, we had determined that Maurice Haywood was a property owner and a registered voter at Oakdale Road. We determined that Robert Hall was also a registered voter and property owner, and that Damon Blakeney of Pierpoint Landing was a registered voter and property owner. Additionally, while we're there, Restaurant Magdalena LLC in good standing and an active LLC as of yesterday. Anything else?
No, and in making this proffer, we are asking for a new Class B BWL license for Restaurant Magdalena LLC. Both the applicants are here. Magdalena LLC will be owned by Carmen Brown, who owns 77%, and Jennifer Bunkley will own 23%. Jennifer also happens to be the taxpayer resident. Robert Arthur, who is also on the license, is going to be the manager of the Ivy Hotel, of which the Magdalena restaurant will be a part. You have in your
let me just back up. I'm going to make your copy of your amended application, last page is the first exhibit then, and your narrative here as the second exhibit.
Okay. And if you will, the certificate of good standing for Magdalena would be the third exhibit. We are talking about the Ivy Hotel, which is under construction at 1125 North Calvert Street. It's actually the southeast corner of Calvert and Biddle. It's also known as 205 East Biddle Street. And for those of you who might recall, when Mayor Schaefer was mayor, he acquired this building, or the city acquired this building, and called it Government House. And it was there in this place where the city entertained. I think Mayor Schaefer likened it to Blair House, where visiting dignitaries could live, but also have city-sponsored parties. Sometime after Mayor Schaefer left the city and went to become governor, this place stopped being used. And ultimately in the 90s, it went in disrepair, and in the mid-2000s, the city put it up for an RFP, and the Mount Vernon Mansion, which is now the owner of the property, which consists of the Brown family, of which Miss Bunkley is a part, Eddie Brown and his wife Carmen, and the Isola family, are really endeavoring to redevelop this property, of which the Magdalena restaurant is a part. So the Ivy Hotel, which is scheduled to open in September 2014, will provide
September 2014?
September 2014 will provide sophisticated social and business travelers with a very unique upscale Baltimore experience. It will be have superb quality and a very expensive nightly rate. It will be one-of-a-kind experience, extremely private and luxurious. There will be 18 guest room suites and a spa. And the Magdalena restaurant will be located on the ground floor. and will serve high-end American cuisine and will provide a first-rate dining experience. For those of you who may have read Jacques Kelly last week, we have an article that was in the Sun papers about the history of the Ivy Hotel, which was once home to prominent city businessman William Painter, who was the Crown Cork and Seal founder, lived at this residence before the city took it over. So that is an exhibit we're presenting to you. And then immediately after that is a rendering of what the building is going to look like when the construction is completed, the Ivy Hotel, and then a series of photographs of the current Ivy Hotel property and the block in which it's on. For those of you who might recall, the Horizon House is on the south end of the Calvert Street, and the Ivy Hotel will be on the north end. And we also have some renderings of what the conservatory will look like on the first floor and the first floor library. If the license is approved, we plan to offer alcoholic beverages to restaurant patrons as well as hotel guests in their hotel rooms. So we've asked for the licensed premises to be the entire building. In addition, in your file is also the Magdalena menu, which we'd also asked to be accepted in evidence. The floor plan, which is also in your file, the next item in your file, would show that there are 81 total seats inside the restaurant, not including bar seats, and of course 75 is required for this license. There will be a bar where 8 to 10 seats will be provided. Also, there is a courtyard, there's a garden, and that is also included in the licensed premises, and there will be outdoor seating in that garden, and that will be part of the dining area. So the dining area is on the ground floor, 3 separate dining rooms, and the total seating, as I said, is 81. Guests will be able also to order food and beverage through room service, and the alcoholic beverages will be available for order and served on the first floor conservatory area. With regard to the proposed hours of the restaurant, it's going to be open Monday through Saturday from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Depending on how well it's received, it may be open again. It may be open on Sunday, but right now we're starting Monday through Saturday, and the patrons of the hotel will be available to have alcoholic beverages provided to them by employees of Magdalena from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. as part of their room service. So you will have employees of Magdalena and employees of the hotel, which will be serving alcoholic beverages in their respective capacities. The license also requires that we have at least $200,000 in capital investment. And just for your information, the entire hotel has is an $18 million project, privately funded.
And that's $1 million per guest room then? Nice.
Yes.
I can't wait to see it.
And $914,000 of that $18 million is what is going to go into the restaurant. We've given you a detailed budget of it, but this is really going to be a wonderful addition to the Mount Vernon Belvedere community. Based on the experience and projections that Mr. Arthur, who would have been the first witness, who the general manager of the hotel, he believes that the majority of sales in this restaurant will be food, and with the 51% requirement, which is also in this license, will be easily met. Again, the primary item to be sold here will be food. But we think that the customer's dining experience will certainly be enhanced by having the amenity of alcoholic beverages. We do plan to offer live entertainment, and the live entertainment in the restaurant would be a piano, string quartet, and acoustic guitar performance within the restaurant. And because the restaurant is open, and the lobby and the garden, we do expect to have parties there receptions, life cycle events such as weddings, bar mitzvahs. So that would be included, and there would be obviously live entertainment in that if there were a party. I can tell you, having 18 rooms above wherever there would be live entertainment, and you can imagine with the investment into this building, the quality of the rooms, that there will be absolute controls to make certain that we don't disturb our guests. Otherwise, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. Mr. Arthur will be the general manager of the hotel, and he's in the process of interviewing the general manager of the restaurant, who will be responsible for the day-to-day operations. Mr. Arthur himself has had experience in managing high-end hotels and seasonal restaurants with a liquor license in Cohasset, Massachusetts, and this restaurant also hosted several year-round events and served a similar customer demographic. The policy as far as checking identification ages will be 35 years old, and Mr. Arthur has completed the alcoholic beverage safety training course. And in fact, his certificate is in the file. We believe there is a need for a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license location. The Ivy Hotel is a very unique boutique luxury hotel, and as an amenity, having a restaurant with alcoholic beverages is really needed for this kind of upscale experience. We have met with the Mount Vernon Belvedere Association to share our plans for the new restaurant, and they support our proposal. Mr. Warren is here. You can hear from him, but he has sent to you an email indicating the support of Mount Vernon Belvedere, and you'll also note that there's a condition which we accept, both Ms. Bunkley and Mr. Arthur, and basically it's this support for live entertainment would just essentially stay with the ownership, and if there's a change in ownership of the control, then it would not. We'd have to come back to the liquor board. But as long as Miss Bunkley and her mother own it, and there may be a switch. One has 73%, one has 27%, but as long as the Brown family owns it, I think that Mount Vernon Belvedere is fine with that. But if the Brown family were to sell to a third party, then the live entertainment approval would cease. In your file also are petition signatures, and in addition to 25 South Charles Street, which is where our offices are, there are other signatures in this case.
All over.
From all over. And we have a total of 62 signatures. So Ms. Bunkley is here, and she would basically confirm everything that Mr. Arthur would have testified to. And they're both here in the event that the board has any questions. I might add that Ms. Bunkley is not just a taxpayer resident, but her family, of which she has a monetary interest, owns the property. So she has more than a passing interest. Sure. But she's a psychologist. She still has a day job as a psychologist.
It's a great mix in this business. Bar business, psychology business. Thank you, Ms. Bunkley.
Certainly Mr. Warren is here, but Ms. Bunkley and Mr. Arthur are more than happy to answer any questions.
So, no, I just want to thank Mr. Warren on behalf of the board for, as always, your prompt and poignant take on all things liquor in Mount Vernon. And clearly you've given there's no conditions attached necessarily to this one whatsoever. So we take that as your highest sign of approval.
That's correct. We do appreciate Mr. Berry and the entire management team. They've reached out to the community from the initial idea. Every step of the process we've been involved. Communications couldn't be better, and so that's all been very key. Absolutely no concerns about this operation, and we are very thankful and appreciative of the management team and the ownership for understanding our dilemma as might relate to subsequent owners down the road, and accepting this condition for the current ownership. We will lose no sleep, and you couldn't go out on a higher note for your last case of the year.
Thank you very much, Paul Warren from Mount Vernon. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, I don't have any questions. Any questions, commissioners?
I just have one. So because this is a restaurant license and not a hotel license, even though it's a B, Will there be mini bars in the room or none?
They will be able to be, they're going to be served if they have
In
room
the
service.
restaurant, But they won't be able to serve themselves in the rooms?
Correct.
Yes or no? No,
Correct.
they
They
won't.
will, right, we will have a bar per se in the hotel itself, served by hotel staff, Magdalena staff.
Where we are, and between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., if you want room service, you're not getting alcoholic beverages. In addition, because we're going to have a server bring the alcoholic beverage to the room, we will make sure that the appropriate IDs, that's a concern of ours, that we don't want some teenager, having room service.
Teenagers will be priced out.
Well, that's,
But you never
that
know.
is, that is,
Affluenza is running rampant
that
in
is what,
America.
that is our theory, because, with the kind of investment for 18 rooms, we don't think too many teenagers are going to be staying there.
I was just curious. Thank you. That was
All
great.
right. And as to Mr. Arthur, I see that you've worked in resort towns and Cohasset Harbor, Massachusetts, to Santa Fe, New Mexico, to Hawaii. So now I say, welcome to paradise. All right, thank you very much. We'll go to our decision phase. December 19th, 2013, decision phase, Jennifer Bunkley and Robert Arthur, Restaurant Magdalena LLC, trading as Magdalena, 205 East Biddle Street. This is a new application, new Class B liquor, beer, and wine application requiring a $200,000 minimal capital investment and 75 seats. We've determined there's 81 seats in the restaurant. Outdoor table service has also been requested in live entertainment. They have been vetted and been in communication with Mount Vernon Belvedere Association, who has received their request with open arms. And so, after a review of the extensive exhibits in the file, we see Mr. Arthur's been alcohol certified. We understand the historical significance of the building. We see a unique menu and a lot of ambitious design plans, and easily trumping the $200,000 minimum investment required. $914,000, $400 spent on the restaurant alone out of an $18 million project. Petitions and support. Easiest case of the day, we'll go ahead and determine under 10202A, public need and desire for the transfer, or for the creation of a license, a de minimis impact on existing licensees, a certain uniqueness of services and products to be offered by your business, negligible impact on health, safety, welfare, things like crime, traffic, parking, and convenience. Sounds like an absolutely wonderful place. And you say it's going to open September?
In September 2014, we will send the board a letter before the 6-month period is up to let you know what our progress is.
Wonderful. All right,
And
thank
This does
you.
include the condition for future
Yes,
sale.
and indeed, I'd want to make that clear,
Thank you.
and I'm sorry I didn't do that earlier. Mr. Arthur, been well represented by you. He's indicating that he understands that that's a voluntary license restriction he's entering into.
And
Thank you.
so does Ms. Bunkley.
And Ms. Bunkley, the
We've gone
co-applicant.
over, Mr. Warren exchanged some emails with us, and we went over in great detail that and what Mr. Warren has in his email, that bold print, which basically says it stays with this family, but once it goes to another third party, all bets are, the
Absolutely.
approval ceases. They clearly have vetted it. Is that correct, Ms. Bunkley? Yes. And Mr. Arthur?
All right.
Yes, and upon counsel.
All right, and we'll approve the application subject to the restrictions thus stated. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great holiday. Board is going off the record, and we're adjourned until January 9th, 2014. Thank you.